I've just managed to get the cabin interior back together after having had to take it apart to move some of the electrical cables. That's allowed me to move the battery chargers to make room for a seawater pump which will feed the new electric head I'm installing. Now, with just days remaining until splash day, I need to hurry up and get the last of the old through-hole holes patched, and clean up after the little mistake I made when trying to install the new pump-out fitting. My name is Andy, and this is the story of one small ship. I've seen how anti-fouling paint can build up in layers upon layers over the years, and inevitably big chunks of it start to come off, leaving huge craters in the hull side. To prevent or at least postpone this, I lightly sand the hull below the waterline. Then we wash the hull and cover any bare gel coat or fiberglass with a few brushstrokes of sealer before anti-fouling. When we're done, I go to inspect the filled-in hole for the pump-out. Yesterday I drilled out the hole and moved it slightly aft and used the old cutout for filling it all round with epoxy, and that seems to have cured now. And I think I moved it enough, so yeah, now we just need to cut out this cutout and then we can put the new fitting in. Now we just need to hope that there's enough room for the holding tank in here, but I think there should be. Well, it's been a few stressful days, and it's about to get worse, because with 6 days to go until splashing, the weather has taken quite a turn, and I'm now dodging rain showers and hailstorms, and I have epoxy work still to do outside the boat. Inside the head area, things are actually looking up. The plumbing is connected, the tank is watertight, and so I think while I'm waiting for the rain and hail to let up, I'm going to figure out where to mount the control panel. I've been working on shaping the plywood that's going to cover the holding tank, and it's been quite a challenge with all the weird angles and shapes in here, but this is what I've got so far, and while it's far from finished, I think it's off to a good start. So what I'm imagining now is kind of like a box that comes out here, and if we make that wide enough, then that could house the control panel for the head, like this. And so I think that is my first goal, to get that in place, and then I can route the electrics from there. I've been working on the carpentry here in the head while I've been waiting for the rain to let up, and it's really not looking like it's going to. But the head area is coming along beautifully, and I'm really happy with how the wood is turning out. I'm also very happy that it looks like the wash basin is going to get plenty of space here. I was thinking I was going to put doors in here, but seeing it now and knowing that there's absolutely no space between this wood panel and the holding tank, I don't think doors are really necessary. I can put a Lexan mirror or some other shatterproof plastic mirror in here, and it's going to look great. So it's coming along fine, but it's not really critical work, so I'm going to leave it for now, and I'll get back to it once we've splashed the boat. There's also one more project that I've kind of forgotten about while I've been working on all of this, and that is the swim platform, and that's going to have to get installed before Tuesday as well. But for now, I'm just going to head home, and I'll get back to working on the tasks below the waterline tomorrow. Well, it looks like the weather gods have been smiling on me because it's stopped raining and there are actually patches of blue sky outside. So today I'm going to head outside and I'm going to finish up working on patching the old through hole that I've plugged up. And after that, I hope I'll still have time to anti-foul the entire hull. And after that, if there's still time, I can look at the paddle wheels for the log that I've 3D printed. But first, chai. This is a bit of an afterthought. At first I was planning to keep using the through hole, so I wasn't going to plug it up, and when I did I just stuck epoxy and chopped strand in there and figured that would be that. But it's been nagging me for the past week and I've been wanting to do something about it, so now I'm taking these pieces of fiberglass matting and I'm wetting them out, and I'm just going to stick them on the outside of that old through hole, and I carved out a little divot for them to sit in. I think I might have worried needlessly, but I don't think I could stop thinking about it if I didn't do this. So there goes. Now I'm just going to get this up there and let that cure, and then I'm going to cover it up and we can anti-foul it. I've got something like 6 or 7 layers of fiberglass in here now, and I'm going to finish this off with some epoxy thickened with 406, and I think that ought to hold it well. Well, now I just need to let that cure, and while that's curing, I can get to anti-fouling the rest of the hull. Yesterday we came down to finish up the last few remaining tasks that needed to be done before we splash on Tuesday. It is now Sunday and, well, the hull is anti-fouled and I've sanded the prop and shaft. I still have to sand and anti-foul this epoxy that has now been curing for a few days. Once that's done, we're more or less ready to splash. I'm going to wait for the rain to let up because I don't want to work outside in this weather, and I've got the heat going because it's rather cold today. But while I'm in here, I'm going to work on the few bits of plumbing that are left to do. There are a few hoses for the drains for the sinks that I need to connect, and also maybe look at connecting the new faucets. And then I'll take a look at the paddle wheel for the log, and we'll see what we can make of that. There. So I've made sure that all of the hose connections that connect under the waterline are secured with 2 hose clamps. And that should be it. Now, none of the seacocks are open into the boat anymore, and everything is connected to the drains and everything. So if we open any of these valves, then no water should leak into the boat, providing everything is tightened down properly. Now I just need to hook up the fresh water and the new faucets, and we'll be able to wash our hands and wash the dishes and brush our teeth and all that. But before I do that, I want to look at the new paddle wheel for the log, which is sitting on the table ready for me to install some magnets in. So as you may recall, last year I had trouble with my log. The old paddle wheel had disintegrated and just gone missing, so I was thinking of alternatives, and I came across the 3D model of a paddle wheel online, and my local chandlery thankfully has a 3D printer and are very helpful when it comes to providing custom solutions using that. And so they 3D printed a paddle wheel for me, and I installed some neodymium magnets in it, and it didn't quite work. And so this year I approached them, and they were happy to 3D print a new version of the paddle wheel for me, and that's this one. This is made out of ABS plastic instead of PLA, which the last one was, and that should last a little bit better. It should absolutely hold up better underwater, but I haven't tried it, and so I don't know what to expect. These holes are definitely too small to fit the magnets in, so I'm going to have to drill them out and make them a little bit bigger. I love playing with these things. They're incredibly strong and so versatile. Well, I couldn't find a drill big enough, but it turns out that the end of this caliper is just about the right size to fit in that hole, and so I just stuck it in there and carved out a little bit. Now, I don't know how many will fit in one of these holes, but that's 2, and I think I can probably get 4 in there. They're 2 millimeters in diameter and 1 millimeter thick, I guess. I can pretty easily fit 3 in there, but not quite 4. I think I want 4, so if I dig a little bit deeper with this, they're fairly well in there. They're sticking out a little bit, but I don't think that that hurts. I'm going to secure them in there with some fast curing epoxy. I think I have some. Hopefully this is still good. So let's just squeeze out a nice lane here. There. Hopefully this will be mixed enough. For the purpose, I've got this little piece of steel wire that's left over from something. Don't know what. And we'll just try and use this to spread some glue inside of each of these holes. I've got glue on those, and let's see if we can stick them inside the hole like this. Now there's 4 in each. So the other side, try and use this actually like this. Oh yeah, that was much better. Trial and error. Just like the others. There. Well, that's it. There are 4 magnets in each hole for a total of 16 magnets, and hopefully that's going to be enough for the sensor to register the wheel spinning. And yeah, can't wait to test this out. Down in this dirty old hole is where the sensor and paddle wheel for the log is located, and if I pull this pin out, we can basically just pull the whole unit out. And here is my old paddle wheel from last year, which didn't work so well. The entire wheel assembly is held in place by this pin here, so I'm just going to push that pin out. And there is the paddle wheel. Let me see if I can just force that out there. There we go. And here's the new one. And if we try to stick that on there, we quickly notice that the hole is too small. I did account for the fact that when things are 3D printed, they generally shrink a little bit. So I made this 2.5% bigger than the original model, but tolerances are still pretty bad in 3D printing, so and there we go. That should be a snug fit. Now we just need to put this back, and we need to put it in the right orientation, because as the water goes this way, the wheel wants to spin this way, and so we want to mount it that way in the boat, like so. We just push this pin back in place, and that should really be it. Just put the pin back so that the whole assembly doesn't pop out. And there we are. That's the paddle wheel replaced, and now we just need to see if the new one works. Spoiler alert, but the new paddle wheel turned out a lot better than the last one. I think the trick was definitely to put more magnets in there and to make sure that they were well adhered, but using ABS plastic for the print definitely didn't hurt. Thanks again to Viking Yachting Chandlery and Riggers here in Gothenburg who helped out with this. If you enjoyed this episode, you can help us out by leaving a like. It really does make a difference, and press subscribe and click the notification bell to follow us on our journey. You can also follow us on social media, check out the links below for that, and thank you so much for watching. Fair winds.